Thank you, Louie. Thank you, Willie. It's good to be with family here tonight. Again, I'm John Wessel-McCoy, and I'm tuning in here from Richmond, Indiana, where my family lives and where we're based these days. And it's kind of a Rust Belt town. It's struggling, and it's multiracial. It's black, it's brown, a lot of poor whites, and a lot of folks struggling here. And I was listening to the scripture tonight, and it brought me back growing up, going to mass. We'd always read that scripture as a sort of drama, right? They'd kind of mix things up a little bit, and there were parts that people had to play, and the congregation was always prompted to do the part where we demand the release of Barabbas. And then we're supposed to say, crucify him. And it's got me thinking here tonight, because we're not, I think most of us don't get taught really the context Jesus comes from. I was thinking about that reading that I read, that gives a little bit of a context. He came from a society that was kind of a backwater, but it was a troublesome one. It caused a lot of trouble for the Romans. And the Judean and Galilee kind of communities. It's said that there was about 90% of them were peasant communities, and they had experienced and were experiencing ongoing, unbelievable violence and repression, and on top of that, debt, just constant debt. And our situation today is not exactly like it was 2,000 years ago. But I think we can find, if we know the context, it just really matters. And when I think about Jesus and his ministry and what got him crucified, it really does matter for us to know where Jesus was coming from. And the authorities, which is a mix, just like Louis mentioned, Pontius Pilate, he's the head, he really represents the state power. But he's got these compromised leaders that he's dealing with that are like kind of the local leaders that are bought off, and they're questioning Jesus, and they ask him, basically are asking him, who the hell do you think you are? Right. And, here he is coming from, his communities that are under the boot of the Roman Empire. And I think today about who should lead, right? Who gets to lead? Who's got a right to lead? Who's got a right to give leadership to how this society is organized? And anybody that does what Jesus does is going to get asked that question: who the hell do you think you are? You don't belong. You don't get to say. And in part of that, I just want to say that the 140 million poor and dispossessed people in this country, and the organized expression that it's taken. And tonight, I just want to. My heart is, I've got everybody, from Kenya's organization out there in Los Angeles to the United Workers in Baltimore, to the Nonviolent Medicaid Army, to the Poor People's Campaign, to all of the folks who are saying no, that they're rejecting the violence, the racism, the poverty, the militarism. Jesus had divide and conquer and plantation politics back in his day, and we've got it here. That divides us and pits us against each other. And so we have to wake up every day and really take seriously what we're doing to unite the poor and dispossessed, to reject the empire and what the empire says in terms of who gets to lead and who gets to benefit from all of the abundance and the wealth there is. And so I just want to end by saying here that, of course, I don't bring DuBois in here. Black Reconstruction. I feel like it bridges here from the communities that Jesus was coming from to our day. But at the end of his chapter called Counter-Revolution of Property, Jesus, DuBois says, and the rebuilding, whether it comes now or a century later, will and must go back to the basic principles of Reconstruction in the United States during 1867 to 1876. Land, light, and leading for slaves, black, brown, yellow, and white. And that's the call for us here. The land, the light, and leading. The land The land is just the means, right? The means of us having good lives, and it's available. And the light, that means education, right? We got to educate ourselves and each other. And leading, who gets to lead? Who gets to say? And so that's what I'm saying. Leading that comes in the interest of the poor and dispossessed. Because if you get the leadership of the poor and dispossessed, everybody rises. Okay, so that's what I just want to share with y'all tonight. Thank you.